Many times folks get to retirement and they say, oh, I wish I had some money in the Roth. Well, now you probably have the option available in your retirement plan, and you can still get that match.
You're on vacation and you're thinking about, how am I going to pay for this? Or you're thinking about my insurance or my auto insurance, right? That's stressful. That takes away from us having joy in our life.
Summer has a way of arriving quickly. Vacations get scheduled, time gets compressed, and the sun starts shining. Let's make sure our finances are in order.
Hello and welcome to The Relax. It's Retirement Podcast with your host, Josh Leonard, where we talk about transitioning into retirement with intent. I'm your producer, Wendy McConnell. Well, hello, Josh. How are you?
Quite fantastic. How are you today, Wendy?
Quite fantastic. I like that. I'm going to go with that as well.
We're going to roll with the fantasticness. You know, speaking of fantastic things, today we have Pete Belcastro.
Got the oldie but the goodie back.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yes. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
The one and only Pete Belcastro.
You got it. I couldn't express myself any better than saying that I feel fantastic as well.
That's good. That's good. It's actually a dreary day here today, Wendy. It was pouring down rain, and I thought summer started yesterday.
Yep.
And it's raining like it's spring. So I'm gonna bring some positive energy and just assume that it's a sunny day because I'm working inside anyways today.
And it's a Monday. So, we need to be as positive as possible.
Yeah. But with that being said, sometimes in summer, we get really good at spending money, not necessarily saving money, right? And we can forget about some of those financial goals we set in January. So Pete and I wanted to jump on and do a quick podcast with 5 financial questions to ask before vacation mode begins.
All right, let's do it.
You ready for it, Wendy?
I'm ready. I can't promise I'm going to follow it, but I will like to hear what you have to say.
You know what? If we make you think about it and reconsider a little bit, it might be beneficial.
All right, let's do it.
Let's jump into it. So the first one is, am I on track with my tax withholding? Now, Wendy, I know you just got excited. I saw you jump there at excitement.
I love taxes.
Yeah. It's a big thing we look at ongoing throughout the year with clients. We update our software kind of when we're reviewing with clients. If they say, hey, I want to take that fantastic vacation to Italy here for our 50th anniversary. This was a conversation that came up with the client recently, and sort of unexpected need for an additional amount of money. We want to have our tax plan updated so we can look at the true impact of it.
Absolutely. We do see that, when we start off the year, we do have a lot of expectations, especially I think we were reviewing some goals, and all of a sudden the summer gets here, and I think, you just got through that tax season. Mm-hmm. And it's a great time to say, yeah, is it going to be the same or is it different? And, am I on track with these things? Right now it might not seem, like it's that relevant or that you need to spend time, especially when there's so many fun things you like to do. But come April next year, you'll be happy you thought about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. The proactive nature of tax planning is, if things do change, if we have an emergency at the end of the year, if we're watching certain limits, like if we are retired, maybe our IRMA limits, which is those upper limits before we pay more for Medicare, it'd be really good to know ahead of time rather than taking that withdrawal, exceeding one of those limits, and then 2 years later paying more for our Medicare. So that tax planning, although summer vacation sounds fun, let's take the money out of the appropriate place so that we don't have an unintended consequence in the future.
Yeah, it'd be a rough April next year if you found out that you weren't going to have to pay 10% tax on something. Maybe it was 25%.
Yeah.
And I think realizing that some of these things that we want to do that might cost a little bit more, if we don't think about where that's coming out of, that might cost us even maybe 15, 20, 30% more. And if we look around, especially right now, the cost of things isn't getting less.
Yeah.
So do you want to pay a little bit more for something? And when you start thinking about the withholdings and what your actual taxes might be, you can do a lot better, right? You can do a lot more with your money. It can go a lot further.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can give 10% less to Uncle Sam, right? Not doing anything wrong or illegal, but proper tax planning may allow us to pay 10% less on certain withdrawals. If we can do that, then that's 10% more vacation we get. Or, maybe we're eating out a little bit more on vacation, maybe treating other family members. I think the other one that we see come up is sometimes folks retire and then they're offered maybe part-time or consulting work as well. So it's always great to take that work as long as we want to do it, especially if they pay us well. But let's withhold our taxes properly. Again, a lot of times, especially in that consulting work, it falls on us. We are independent contractors, so we need appropriate framework to make sure we're withholding the appropriate amount of taxes, not just spending all that money.
Absolutely. I think that happens sometimes. We see in retirement people, they make that transition and they go from their full time to either maybe it is part time or maybe it's something more rewarding to them as far as through a charity, and then they go back to some sort of consulting work. But as those changes happen, planning for those things, I think it allows for some additional freedom. If you know these things are going to happen and you know that you are. Maybe being pushed up into another tax bracket and you need to take funds from a different area, you can really benefit from just that initial, planning at the beginning of the year. Or, if we're sitting here at the beginning of the summer even.
Yeah. Yeah. Check in, right? Any plan changes as soon as we make it, right? So we want to be careful. Right. We want to be mindful of those. I think on this note too, Wendy, I want to make sure that we are differentiating between tax preparation and tax planning. Here, we're talking about tax planning. This is the proactive action of trying to see what our taxes are and planning accordingly. That tax preparation we're doing at the end of the year when the game's already over, right?
When you're filing it. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, it's filling out a stack of paperwork from a shoebox of receipts, right? That's sort of the typical historic imagery. So while you might work with a CPA that you've done a great job with, the question that we often have for folks that come in to see us is, are you doing any level of tax planning, right? And the answer is typically no there. If you are working with a CPA that you love, get them in contact with your financial planner to make sure that you are being proactive there. Any moves that the advisor is suggesting is also being executed properly on the CPA side.
Okay.
This comes down to, now that we breached paperwork, our second one here, where the next question is, when did I last review my beneficiaries? And this one, I was recently talking to my parents, and I remembered, I think I was about 12 at the time. They were hiking into the Grand Canyon, staying at the Phantom Ranch, and then hiking back out. And there's a certain level of danger to that. Now, granted, they weren't like base jumping in or anything, but this was a time that they had updated their estate planning documents. So they sat down, me and my older brother at the time, to kind of just explain, hey, if something were to happen to us, this is what we would want to happen. Now, sitting down with an attorney to do those estate planning documents is certainly important. What we're talking about here is just checking on your beneficiaries. Sometimes we'll meet with folks and there's been a change in the family dynamics, or they never elected a beneficiary, period. So if we have a retirement account, maybe at work, we switch jobs, we were trying to jump into that new job quickly, maybe we didn't even put our spouse down as the beneficiary. Let's verify that that information is there, correct? And then also, if we have kids or other family members that we would want, or charities, as the contingent, make sure we're listing them as well.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people didn't realize that they didn't adjust it, and it's like, oh gosh, we forgot to add that other child. It's like, well, gosh, you're getting retirement. Your child's an adult now. You didn't add them. I mean, in one instant, I still had some a client's parent on there. Yeah. And I think, whenever you look at planning on these and or, looking at some just a little high level planning, and you get these things off your plate, I think what we're talking about is moving into summer here and creating a little bit of peace of mind.
Sure.
You have these things taken care of. That that the beneficiaries, if something does happen to you, the money is going to going to the right place. Um, and we do have a little bit of a unique ability here whenever we add beneficiaries to these accounts. Is actually supersedes anything else you have out there. So oftentimes it's a little bit easier way to say, you know what, we're gonna give a little more money to this charity when we pass away. I don't want to go redo my entire will or sit down with the attorney. I just did these things. This cause touched me. I'd like to leave some money here. It's an easy thing that you can do is just pay attention to to the beneficiaries on your account.
Yeah, I think some of this can become strategic too. You had just mentioned if I want to add a charity in too. One of the things kind of pairing our estate plan and our tax plan that we talk to clients a lot about is maybe if we want to leave some money to that charity, a non-taxable entity, it might be better to leave that fully taxed money to them and rather give the life insurance proceeds to the kids or something that has a lower tax friction to it. If we have a big IRA, a retirement account, a 401k, those accounts are fully taxable. If we leave them to our children, they have to withdraw all the money over a 10-year time period and pay taxes on it. If we instead want to leave that to animal friends or our local place of faith, or some percentage of that, that is a non-taxable bit. So equally, we could give a little bit more to the kids, right? Because we're removing that tax friction.
Absolutely. And I think just real quick, that reminded me that we're not just talking about these retirement or qualified accounts. You can add beneficiaries to most every account that you have through different titles that we have the ability to do. So, definitely keep that in mind. Whenever you think about your own plan, that if you don't have a beneficiary and you would like these funds to go based on your wishes, maybe you should look into that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the easiest one is like a TOD, a transfer on death. So if you have that taxable investment account, maybe you bought some mutual funds years ago and you started accumulating some money there. If your kids are adults, you could add them as the TOD, the transfer on death. They will receive those funds. It doesn't have to go through probate. It goes direct to the kids then. So that is a piece of paper, right? So when we talk about updating beneficiaries, it's completing a form. And if you're working with an advisor, they are certainly able to help you complete that form too. So this is very low friction. Many times when we're taking on new clients and talking through their beneficiary designations, it's always good to have a refresher course on that, right? If you're married, typically your primary beneficiary is going to be your spouse. So when I think of my parents, that's Bill and Cindy. They have each other as primary, and then they have 3 kids. Me, middle child, but I'll list myself first in this instance. Zach and Zoe, for them, they list the 3 of us as their contingent beneficiaries. The other option that they have there on their contingents is to elect a per stirpes designation or to follow that branch of the family. So if I were to pass away prior to my parents, and then my parents passed away and they hadn't updated any forms, if they had that per stirpes designation, my share of the inheritance would then be transferred to my 2 sons. So this is a way that we can kind of make sure that the money's directing the right way, but often overlooked by folks as well.
Yep, just being aware of it. Knowing that you have these options available to you. I think that's that's the first step, and then checking on your accounts. Let me see this. And when we say it in the title, that's quite literally whenever you get your statement, you look at it, it'll be written right there above your address.
All right, so we're going to talk about some road trips.
Oh, yeah. We might be hitting the road this summer. So we probably want to make sure our car insurance covers a lot, right? When I first got a Toyota 4Runner. Angela in our office had one too. And she's like, you better add that windshield protection. Because on that car, it tends to have a flatter windshield, which catches more rocks on the highway, right? We've all been behind that construction vehicle or something. You hear some of those cinders getting kicked up, maybe hitting your paint, and you're kind of cringing, trying to get some space from them. Let's make sure that our insurance is covering those things that might come up for us. Let's be aware of what our deductible is, right? If something were to happen, how much do we need to produce out of pocket before the insurance is going to kick in there? I think another big one is if we are traveling out of the country, what if we have a health problem, right? How is that going to be covered? Depending on the country we're going to, many times with your travel insurance, you can purchase something there as well. So it's certainly something to evaluate. As always, check your existing coverage first, right? We don't necessarily need to buy that insurance offered by the travel company or, checking a box as we kind of book at a place. Make sure that you evaluate what coverage you already have before you buy something else.
Yeah, we do sometimes see a little bit of overlapping insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only so much that we can plan for, but we do know that whenever we are going on a road trip, car is probably a big piece of that puzzle. And if we have these things in place and we know that we're covered, like we said, that's just you check that box and we're good to go. And I think that's. I think there's a lot of things that are going to come up in life and on a road trip,
Yeah.
anything. And at least trying to relieve a little bit of stress and that pressure, it can really help you actually enjoy this, so you can vacation with intent and you can make sure that you are, you're really there. You're really focused on those important things.
Yeah. If, I think rental cars is the one that always comes up to me. Every time you rent a car, they ask, do you want this level of insurance, blah, blah, blah. Well, knowing what is already covered under your auto insurance can certainly help in making that decision, right? I think so many folks, especially the way that it's presented to us, opt in for it when they might not need to, right? We might already have that coverage through our existing coverage. So we want to think through it. I think the other one that comes up here sometimes when we talk about insurance and reviewing it is umbrella insurance, right? The easy way to think about umbrella insurance is, well, it's like an umbrella. It covers a lot of things that our other things aren't covered by. Tends to be relatively cheap. So when we're reviewing our homeowners, our auto insurance, it's a good thing to talk to your insurance representative about and see if you can add it on for a somewhat minimal cost. It'll cover a lot of these things outside of our traditional insurances.
The umbrella is nice because, like you said, there's only so many things that you can directly kind of insure against. So I think, it's pretty obvious. We're on a road trip. We got a car. We need this auto insurance. Maybe if my car is older, maybe I need some sort of roadside assistance just to make sure that I understand what these costs are. So, making sure that you have the appropriate insurance for the appropriate need is important as well. And the umbrella kind of covers things that you might not have thought about, so that you don't have to go in and be like, gosh, I need toenail insurance in case I break a nail. It's like, well, maybe,
I want to know who's selling toenail insurance. This is a very questionable figure. Wendy, have you been presented with toenail insurance?
No, but with the cost of pedicures now, it's not a bad idea.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can tell,
Oh, it's funny. My mind went to like doing some athletic venture where you break, often endurance running or that kind of stuff. But yeah, pedicures and manicures. Okay.
Different,
different way that we thought about that there.
When you have a daughter and you've just paid for her to get her nails done for a little banquet.
Yes.
And then 2 days later she's like, I'm missing a nail already. I'm like, well, that's
too bad.
You'd like to have some insurance to go back.
Fair enough.
Getting your nails used to be a nice little luxury, and now with everything else, it has become astronomically expensive.
That's it.
It is, in fact, a luxury.
So there you go.
It's weird. So, maybe, pedicure, manicure insurance. Interesting. A new line of insurance. But again, really the point being here is that it's not just purchasing those policies, right? If you have two boys that are not getting manicures and pedicures, the toenail insurance as presented by Pete would not really be applicable. So it could be a big waste of money, right? Just like renting a vehicle. Sometimes we're double covering things and we're incurring costs that we don't need to. So we want to be careful there. I think question number 4, as we're preparing here for the summer, is going to be, am I making the most of my tax advantaged accounts? It is kind of halftime throughout the year. So let's think about if we're still working, are we contributing the correct amount? Or if we have excess cash flow, should we be contributing more into those accounts, right? There might be a conversation around that balance between Roth and traditional 401k if we're saving into the 401k. My favorite, often overlooked, the HSA, right? If we're leading up to retirement, we are going to have health expenses. I can almost guarantee it, right? Like as we get older, we will have some level of health expenses. If we can put that money away in our higher earning years without paying taxes on it, we can grow that money without paying taxes on it. And as long as we have a health expense, we can take that money out without paying taxes on it. That sounds like a triple win to me.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that, a little bit of, a little bit of forethought. You're like, oh my gosh, I could, I could put this money away, and it might have multiple uses. Whether it is like an HSA that you can, it does turn into a retirement account. But if we have those qualified medical expenses, my gosh, you have that tax deferral and then tax-free withdrawals. That can be pretty, pretty huge. And like, yeah, as we get closer to retirement, or maybe we're in a job for a while, sometimes we overlook some of those changes within the plan. So sometimes a plan that you are, that you have available to you, maybe you didn't realize that there was an additional match, or that there was another Roth option. So making sure that those contributions are going to the right place, and we see some significant savings in the back end. If people, do a little bit of extra planning, you can say that, okay, maybe I'm gonna direct this extra 10% instead of this additional 10% going to Uncle Sam there.
Yep, absolutely. I think balance there. Long-term tax planning pairs really well with this, right? Like, are we going to default in a position where we've saved too much in our qualified accounts and we're forced to pay more for Medicare in the future? Our required minimum distributions, or those forced distributions from our retirement accounts come age 73 or 75, are going to be so far in excess of what we need that we might get hurt. It might make sense to start saving in a different way, right? Many times folks get to retirement and they say, oh, I wish I had some money in the Roth. Well, now you probably have the option available in your retirement plan, and you can still get that match, right? We recently met with a client. Pete had notated there on making sure that you're taking advantage of that company match. We met with a young client who was doing a great job saving money. His employer plan wasn't all that great, so he wasn't excited about it, but he was also not putting enough money into it to get the free money, right? You can call it free money. You can call it part of your compensation package, but we should be taking advantage of that match to the 401k, or HSAs sometimes have like a wellness incentive tied to it, where you might have to go get like an annual physical or something. Certainly worth the time. I know Yana had a previous employer that we got $500 a piece towards the HSA for going to do a health screening. And I was like, that is worth every hour of that time, right? I will take $500 an hour to go sit in an office all the time. Now, them poking me with the needles, not so much, but we'll take it once a year.
Yeah. I think looking into those additional benefits. I know that with some health insurance, people get a health credit you can use to put towards a gym membership, or maybe it's even just like a smartwatch. You can track your steps,
or a bicycle, Pete.
Or a bike. Put it towards a bike that you're actually, So I think looking for those things that that you're already paying for, if it's part of your plan, I think for me with the, even with like you look at my vision insurance, and at least I get some sunglasses for free if I don't go to the eye doctor, which I will eventually. We'll find out when I finally can't see what I'm reading.
Yeah, can you read this, Pete?
I cannot. No.
This is a bit of an inside joke. Pete's significant other also works for a vision company. Yeah. We have vision insurance through our employer, and he's like, "Well, I get the free sunglasses with the credit." I'm like, "Have you gone to visit the eye doctor?" Not recently. I'm like, "Well, it is a good thing to check occasionally."
Yeah,
but
hey, it's on the table there, but
we'll transition that from sunglasses to reviewing what last summer actually cost, right? I think for us, we're in a different life stage than many of our clients, but our kids have all these different summer camps going on now. I know Pete was traveling for lacrosse and has a great upcoming trip with the Boy Scouts as well. What is the actual cost of these things? And could we plan better ahead for it next year, right? Making sure that we have enough cash flow. I think at our stage of life, it's more so making sure that it doesn't go on a credit card, right? And then it becomes more expensive. For a lot of our clients, if they've saved the money and they're in retirement, we could take the money out, but what's the tax impact? If we're planning ahead throughout the year, again, we're being proactive there. We can get a good balance there. We don't want to eliminate the fun, but can we make it more efficient?
Yeah, this is a great time. You look at that credit card statement at the end of last summer, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's right. We ended up going out for ice cream every night when we went on vacation, and it wasn't $2 an ice cream cone; it was $8 an ice cream cone, and all of a sudden that was a significant part of what we were doing. Or maybe it was that insurance piece, and said, you know what, we didn't get this, this renter insurance whenever we went down, and there was something happened with our stuff. And, so just reflecting a little bit to eliminate some of those what ifs that are coming up this summer, creates that peace of mind, right? So you can enjoy our time.
It does. I think the killer one for me in our house now, when we moved back to Pittsburgh, we have this hole in the backyard filled with water. And I joke that it's a hole in my backyard that I have to throw money into, right? In the spring, we have to add some water to it. So our water bill goes up substantially. We have to put chemicals. This is a pool, if you haven't figured that out yet.
I did figure that out. Yes.
We got to add chemicals into it. And there's some maintenance cost. And I think that's a newer expense for us. And while I might joke that it seems like a waste of money, last night we spent, or yesterday afternoon into yesterday evening, we spent so much time on the back porch, the kids swimming in the pool, my brother coming over, and the whole family enjoying it. So it's certainly something that has become sort of an essential part of our summer now. So I better anticipate those expenses, right? And building up sort of this slush fund, or maybe we could call it the summer fun fund, where if we want that extra ice cream, if it's chemicals in the pool so it's usable, right? We need to do these things. So let's just account for it properly so that we can spend fearlessly and we can kind of live with intent throughout our summer, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's, hey, gosh, I really got to put this money away so we can go have ice cream. It's, no, hey, we're going to have ice cream this summer. I'm going to make sure I got some funds set aside, because that's what we're going to do. And if I have it there, we can easily spend it. We can go out and enjoy these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it becomes overwhelming if you're sitting there and you're on vacation and you're thinking about, how am I going to pay for this?
Yep.
Or you're thinking about my insurance or my auto insurance, right? And that's stressful. That takes away from from us having joy in our life. So if you do these things ahead of time, that's what we're talking about. And it's not just eat the whole elephant in one bite. It's just taking it one bite at a time. Whenever we're leading up into these things, and we know it's all taken care of, and we can have that peace of mind on vacation.
Allows us to enjoy more, right? We were just talking with our team. Now we are in summer vacation mode here at Leonard Advisory Group, where different team members are taking some time off to do those fun things that we get to do in the summer, right? So trying to be intentional, looking ahead a little bit, right? So that we are prepared. So no one has to call us on vacation to say, hey, Wendy, that podcast recording we did, where did that go, right? We want to be proactive. We want to make sure that when we close the laptop, shut off the lights to the office and walk out, that we can be fully in vacation mode. So these are good items to help us get some of that worry out of the back of our mind, make sure that we're doing everything we can. Make the most of the somewhat short summer we have here in this region of the country.
It can be short.
Oh, it certainly seems to fly by. However much I enjoy the change of seasons, summer can often seem like the shortest. So, Pete, thanks so much for joining today. Wendy, as always, pleasure having you on. Thanks all listeners for listening to our summer fun and inside jokes. And until next time, remember to retire with intent so you can live your golden years with the happiness and excitement you deserve.